Ms. Davis, let me have you, raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give to this honorable court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, so say I do. Okay, Ms. Davis, I need for you to speak slowly and loudly, so the court reporter can take down all the testimony, and the jury, of course, can hear you as well as the judge. Ms. Davis, you are the defendant in this action, are you not?
I am.
And do you understand that you're under indictment of these 7 charges that have been presented here to this jury during this week? Is that correct?
Correct.
Do you understand, Ms. Davis, that you are under no obligation to testify?
Correct.
That if you should decide to not testify, then this jury cannot infer or think anything harmful towards you because of your silence. You understand that?
I do.
Do you also understand that if you should decide not to testify, that the district attorney's office could not argue to the jury that you're holding something back?
I do.
And that if you do give testimony, then you'll be subject to cross-examination by the district attorney's office.
I do.
Knowing that, do you wish to testify here today?
I do.
All right.
And speak up for me, okay, Ms. Davis?
Let me ask you this. Carter, his date of birth again was when?
January 14, 2018.
And at the time that Carter was born, did he develop any problems as far as being sickly?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Once again, you were living in San Michael Apartments with Mr. Ambrose?
I was.
Was Carter hospitalized soon after he was born?
I'm not sure how soon it was, but he was hospitalized for sure right before his first birthday.
And for what type of problems?
He was having breathing issues and he was admitted into the NICU for a few days.
And I see you where?
In maintenance.
At the time that this happened, were you and Mr. Ambrose still living with each other?
Yes, we were.
At some point in time, who was your doctor for Carter?
Dr. Waters
And where was Dr. Waters
at Primary Pediatrics.
And that's the primary pediatrics that we've been talking about all week, is that correct?
That's correct.
At some point in time, did you and Mr. Ambrose move from where you were living in San Michael Apartments?
We did.
This is State's Exhibit 11. What is that?
That is a picture of my child's liver.
Your child's liver. That's quite a laceration, isn't it?
It is.
It is. You heard the testimony that it will be 24 to 72 hours out. So either Monday morning to Saturday morning, correct?
Correct.
And he was just telling you his stomach hurt?
He was pointing at one point saying my stomach hurts and that's all.
And you heard Dr. Eisenstadt say that this is a serious injury, right?
I did.
And that quite a bit of force would be needed in order to cause that injury.
That is correct.
But so Monday, he was just okay?
Monday he was throwing up, but I was at work all day Monday, so I did not see him all day. I only saw him during the period of time when I returned home for lunch and when I returned home after 5 p.m.
Okay. And he was hurting overnight though, wasn't he?
No,
He wasn't?
Overnight, what day?
Sunday.
Sunday, no, he was not.
Now, you said just a minute ago that you stand by the statements that you gave Collins, correct?
Correct.
And in your first statement, you told him that the symptoms started Sunday night.
I told him that on Sunday. He told me that, Mommy, my stomach hurts, and that was all on Monday night.
That was not your first statement.
It was my first statement to him.
Well, we all watched it.
We did.
And they can watch it again.
They can.
Yes, they can. So Monday he's throwing up. Is that right?
Monday, when I got home from lunch, I suspected that what was on the floor was a puddle of juice. I did not suspect at that time that it was thrown up until after he threw up with me after I returned home around 5 p.m.
But you didn't take his calls for help seriously, did you?
I did take it as seriously as I could from what I was presented and what he was showing me.
I think you had said that he'd never thrown up like that before.
He has thrown up like
He
that.
has thrown up like that before. But he's a crybaby, isn't he?
He's a crybaby in the sense of he would tell me or he would cry if something was seriously injured or seriously wrong with him.
He would tell you something seriously wrong with him?
He would be crying and he would notify me that something was wrong with him.
Is it?
Pointing or making, like I testified, or like I said, he wasn't at a point where he could say full sentences yet. So it would be fragments of this, mommy that.
Well, is a 2-inch laceration to a 2-year-old's liver serious?
Yes,
It's very serious. That's why he died, right?
correct.
But he didn't say, point, he wasn't crying, it wasn't really alarming to you, was it?
He was not crying, he was not crouching over, he was not holding his stomach, he was not doing anything except for saying, mommy, stomach hurt, and vomiting juice.
And you expect the jury to believe that a 2-year-old crybaby, who you said cried over everything, who had a 2-inch laceration of his liver, wasn't really crying?
I expect them to believe what I saw and what I presented.
When did you break up with Kianna?
Me and Kianna ended our relationship around February of 2021
Why?
because
Because why?
he did, we just broke up. That was our first time dating. And 2, all of this was going on, so it was really a lot for me to even try to be in a relationship with anyone or focus on anything other than my child, and in this case,
And you knew him, right?
correct?
And you repeatedly denied that he would have done anything to your child.
That is correct.
But you deny that you did anything to your child.
Absolutely.
And the time frame, as we've all heard, is that you and Kianna were the only people who had access to him.
During Sunday to Monday.
Right.
Correct?
Right. Other than the Saturday that you were at your father's house, right?
Right, yes.
Okay, but he was fine that day.
He was running around.
And then Sunday is when he's not feeling well?
Sunday night is when he first mentioned, mommy, my stomach hurts.
Okay. And then it's Monday?
Monday, after I got home from work, yes, after again.
But you say Kianna would never do anything like that.
That is correct.
But you deny having done anything.
That is correct.
So who would have done it if the only 2 people were he and you?
That is a good question.
So we just don't know.
We don't. Considering, and I will say this, nurses, they've all testified that my child did not have bruises on his body when he was presented to them. That is Tuesday morning. So, according to that time frame that you're trying to give me, by Tuesday morning, if something like this would have happened, he would have absolutely shown bruises or something on his body to a complete staff of medical professionals. And every one of them got on the stand and testified that they saw nothing. So I also did not see anything to a point where I thought that I needed to rush my child to an emergency room after hours, after everyone was already off. I did not get home from work until 5 o'clock. That is after hours. I would have had to make an after hours appointment. I did not choose to do so because that was the first time that my child had grown up in my presence. And I believe that keeping him home would have sufficed for enough time for us to be able to monitor him and then decide from there what we needed to do.
So you said you didn't see anything.
I did not see anything.
At some point you said you gave him a bath and you complained his balls hurt.
I was washing his balls, scrubbing his balls, obviously, because he had to look on himself. And he said, ouch, and I assumed that it was because I was rubbing his balls too hard.
Well, and I'm looking at State's Exhibit 10, which is a picture of that very region of his body.
Correct.
Okay, so he said, and is that not kind of a weird place to have a pain?
Not while I'm rubbing it, no.
Okay, so you never saw the injury
I never saw the
him.
injury.
Had no idea.
I never saw the injury.
What about the injury to his cheek?
I was not aware of any injury to his cheek.
You didn't tell Sergeant Collins that that was from a hickey?
I did not tell him it was from a hickey. I told him that me and my child often kiss each other and like to suck on each other's faces.
And is that what caused that mark?
I have no idea.
So it could be from you sucking on your child's face.
Could be I have video of me sucking on his face.
Now, it's your testimony that you and Kadeen moved to that Lakeview Road apartment so you could have easy access to the pediatrics office, right? And we've seen the medical records, correct?
That is correct.
And you said that you were a regular.
That is correct.
And what would you take him in for?
There have been multiple allergic reactions, random ones. He also had breathing issues that either they would send us to the emergency room for, or we would already be there, or it was regular checkups. And then, of course, I always saw them whenever his allergies would flare up or his vomiting would move.
And you didn't have any problem taking him right away, right?
I didn't take him right away then either,
Okay. You never took him right away?
to the doctor.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a problem, you just took him to the doctor, right?
No, you have to make an appointment.
Okay. You have to make an appointment?
That is correct.
Okay, well, obviously you have to make an appointment.
That's obvious.
Would you make an appointment once you saw his symptoms?
I would make an appointment once I monitor his symptoms.
Once you monitor his symptoms?
Yes,
Like you monitor his throwing up?
from 5 p.m. until the morning that he passed.
Were you monitoring the symptoms when he threw up in his sleep?
I was sleeping, so no, until I went into the room. That was my intent, to get up in the morning. I set my alarm to get up in the middle of the night to go and check on him.
But you were aware that he threw up while he
In
was
his bed,
asleep?
correct.
And that wasn't alarming?
It was at that point, that was my very first alarm, because he had threw up in his sleep and not while he was awake.
Mm-hmm. But you don't call Monday when you get up, right? When you wake up Monday, you just go to work.
Why would I need to call anyone on Monday?
I don't know. Would you, potentially, you just said it was alarming that he threw up in his sleep.
That was Monday night.
Okay. And then he threw up again Monday, correct? So Monday he throws up in his sleep, which you say is alarming, but you go to work.
Monday at 3, that will be Tuesday now at
Okay,
3 a.m.
Tuesday? See, I'm still hung up on the fact that you told Collins that these symptoms started Sunday.
I told Collins that he first mentioned that his stomach was hurting on Sunday. On Monday is when I went to work. He was at home. And when I came home from lunch, he was sleeping, and there was juice on my floor. And what I presented was juice because the sippy cup was sitting right beside it, tipped over.
Right, but I guess my point is that on the first interview that you gave Collins, you told him that the kid was throwing up, Carter was throwing up Sunday. It wasn't until a month later, a couple weeks later, that you told him, oh, now it's Monday.
I did not, and also, I spoke with Mr. Collins the first time, the day after my child had died. So I was completely discombobulated that day.
Okay. And so you had kind of no idea what was going on. You're just monitoring conditions, but Carter's just happy as can be.
I'm monitoring his conditions, yes.
Right, and Carter's fine?
From my understanding, he has not yet thrown up in my prison.
Okay, so why doesn't Kadeem get to FaceTime his child? Call saying that Carter threw up 4 times Sunday night. Was Collins in your first interview?
I don't recall anything from that first interview. Again, I had just lost my child. It was a lot going on.
How many times did he tell you his stomach hurt?
I don't know.
Was it once?
He told me Sunday night. I went to work on Monday. I never heard him say it again until I returned home and he threw up in my face. And then he said, Mommy, my stomach hurts.
Did you give him a bath after that happened, or did you give him the bath prior to being in the kitchen?
I gave him a bath when I got home because I noticed that he had juice all on his shirt.
But it wasn't juice, was it?
It was juice.
It was juice?
It was juice.
What was on the carpet?
Juice.
Juice was on the carpet?
Juice.
Okay. But you said that you kind of deduced that it was throw up at some point in your statements to law enforcement, right?
Throw up in my mind is throw up, which it should contain food, some sort of consistency, chunkiness, something. This was not that. This was, looked like water mixed with juice.
So, why did you tell law enforcement that you kind of figured out later, once he threw up in the kitchen, that you figured out it was throw up?
I said, because when he threw up with me in the kitchen, he also vomited the juice and clear fluid. So I then immediately said that must have been what I noticed on the floor from when I came home from work.
And you said that there was something I would tell you to law enforcement once they told you about the injuries, right?
Of course,
So there's nothing.
I did not witness any type of anything, no. And there was no evidence of any bruising or anything on his body to me, nor was there any evidence of any bruising on his body to the medical staff who saw him that Tuesday morning.
But Carter didn't run to you and point at Kianna and
No.
say he hit me.
No.
He never did that, right?
He never said anyone hit him, but if anyone did hit him, he would point to whoever. I would ask who did it, as I would refer to my child, and he would point and tell me who he thought would do anything.
Right, like if he got hit at daycare or something like that.
If he got hit at daycare, I wouldn't have known unless Ms. Stark told me.
But you said if anything would happen, Carter, who was a crybaby in your words, would come to you and point at what happened.
Carter's always the last one to be picked up from daycare because I am the latest parent to pick him up. So whenever I pick him up from daycare, he is typically the only child there. So there will be no one to point to.
Okay, then why did you tell police that? Why did you tell police that if someone hit Carter, that he would tell you,
Because he would.
but he didn't do that with Kianna?
So that obviously means no one hit him.
Nothing further, Chad.
Thank you.
I have nothing else, Connor.
Step down now.